So today we're going to draw a room in an art gallery in 1-point perspective. That means it looks like you can see the ceiling, the floor, and the two walls like you're really in the room. And we start with a square in the middle and then diagonal lines coming out from the corners. And then you will draw your sculpture in the style of Yayoi Kusama. And we put really big dots which represent her infinity room, really big around the edge. Then they get smaller and smaller as they get far away. So how do you begin? Well, if you have a ruler, go ahead and use it. If you don't, you can use the edge of a folder or even the edge of a notebook. But first sketch really lightly. We want to try and get it parallel, the line, the top of the square or rectangle, parallel to the top of the paper. So it just means straight across, really. And same down here and here. It doesn't matter if it's right in the middle or not. So I just sketched very lightly, and now I see, oh, it's tilted down a little. And that's why it helps to sketch lightly. And when you hold the folder, you can put it to the edge of the page, and it already has a right angle. It already has the angle you want, that you want. So it helps make it straighter, more in proportion. Same when you do the sides. You can line it up to the top to make it straight. I'm doing this lightly because I'm going past the corner of my original square. See, so that's why we sketch lightly. Give everyone a chance to catch up. If you're doing it freehand, that's fine too. So now, once you have this, the next thing to do is draw a very light line connecting these two corners on the opposite ends. Very, very light. It's a guideline. You're going to erase it later. And the opposite direction, it's like a big X. Big letter X. Okay? If you're behind or you just want to watch now, you can watch this again for yourself while we're working. Now you need those diagonal lines going to the edge. So it doesn't matter where you start, but you want to try and get it, line it up with the diagonal line in the box and just continue, whoops, make sure it's to the point, make sure it's to this angle, okay? So angle, that point, yes, out. We're not erasing that, so I made it kind of dark and it doesn't matter. Line it up, it's to the point, out. I'm going fast now. You don't have to. You can. Oh, look at the video again on your Chromebook if you're not caught up. Now, that's it. Doesn't really look 3D yet. It's really 1-point perspective is what it is called. This would be the beginning of the floor. That's the ceiling, and those are the side walls. Now, this is your art gallery room where your huge sculpture in the style of Yayoi Kusama is going to be. And that's going to be an infinity room, which means it's going to have mirrors and lights. So, let's start with your sculpture. You can make mushrooms or flowers or something else. But whatever you do, start it kind of near the bottom and end it up above this line. So just so it looks really tall. Okay? So I'm just gonna do a mushroom. Mushrooms can be done all different ways, but they're basically a curved line and a straight line. But if you're looking up at it And don't everybody do a mushroom, please. You could do that long skinny oval, and the stem would go to here, right? And then you would erase whatever is going through that sculpture, that mushroom, in other words. Okay. Now, we're doing the dot method. Big dots in the middle. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Smaller dots next to it. And right now, I forgot to tell you one other thing, I'm sorry. Before we do the dots for this project, we're not going to leave the background of the object, your sculpture, white. You don't want to do it in pencil first because of the smear, but oh well. Color it a light color, like it could be yellow, it could be orange. You can switch colors, like the stem might be different. And then you can put dots over that, okay? You can use black a lot for these dots if you would like to. It works out. And then the infinity dots that are the lights on the ceiling and the walls, you can choose a color because it is actually colorful anyway in the infinity room where you cannot see where the walls end. I can't wait to go see the infinity room. Okay, so you get the idea. You try to make them smaller as you get to the edge. Biggest down the center, smaller, okay? Make believe I'm done. We do outline the lines of the wall, okay? The square line. Don't cross over your drawing. I am warning you. You will not be happy, okay? Because this is in the foreground. It is close to you, and it's in front of those lines, okay? And also trace over your object. It can be from nature, flower, tree, but it's got dots all over it because it is an imaginative sculpture. Okay, make believe I'm done with all the dots. Now, the infinity dots, you have to really force yourself to make them huge, like you might only see part of it on all four edges of the page. Start with those. I'm going way too fast. You know that. Please don't. That one's really big. Okay, because where you're standing, from the point where you are standing, these walls and this part of the floor is closer to you, and so is this part of the ceiling. So it'll be all around like that. And then as you get inward, they'll be a bit smaller. And as you get here, smallest. Inward, smaller. But you have work to do. I'm skipping around, and I can't wait to see what you do. You don't have to fill in the walls a color, but that's why we're doing the sculpture colored in, because if not, it would blend right in with the white walls. So the walls are white, even though they have colored lights on them. And the sculpture is all colored, okay? Remember, you might think of something totally different besides a mushroom or besides a flower. Those are things that Yayoi did regularly, okay? All right, just quickly. Square in the middle. Each point of the square goes out. You're ready. Don't outline it first. Silly, because now I have my line going through. And And I'm just going crazy with my... Well, if I had white out, I'd have to white all these out. All right, but I just wanted you to see how to do the room one more time, basically. But I showed you how to do it with an edge of a notebook or the edge of a folder, right? Okay, do your best. I can't wait.